Beating the heat. A record-breaking crowd turns out for the Wrgb 5K. How they handled the heat and the new security measures. More than 5,000 found a way to handle the heat in the 35th Wrgb 5K run for women today. A record turnout there, and the temperature almost set a record too. Jennifer Lukey was there. She says most runners finished unfazed by the heat, and that might have had something to do with the help they received from organizers.
5,000 women running a 5K course in very hot and humid conditions. Did the heat play a role? Were you having any issues out there?
At first it did, but then I just settled in, and we run together every weekend, so she talked me through and we just did it.
Erica Janung had a little company on her run too. She's 6 months along and says safety was her first priority.
Lots of water. They were good about making sure there was water along the course, so just paced myself and didn't have a problem.
Organizers had extra medical staff on site and set up more checkpoints throughout the course. Runners also got a cool down courtesy of the fire department at the finish line. But there were some who couldn't take the heat.
So we saw some people that were very well trained who ended up becoming a little bit overcome by the heat and by a little bit of dehydration.
3 runners were sent to the hospital. About 100 were helped in the medical tent. But considering the conditions and the number of runners, Dr. Daly says it could have been worse. The heat wasn't the only big difference from last year's race. Security was stepped up too, following the Boston Marathon bombings.
Normally this is all lined up. This is why I love this race, because you come and it's all women on the field and it's all men and children along the sides. And it's weird because nobody's here. It's just all us. So that way it was different. But you know what? Albany is a good place and I felt safe.
Aside from fewer spectators along the route itself, big backpacks and coolers were off limits. Smaller bags were checked and a large law enforcement contingent was very visible.
A lot more. And in different spots, like kind of remote spots, and you would just see someone standing there. So I felt very safe. I was very comfortable.
That seemed to be the consensus as those 5,000 women crossed this finish line. In downtown Albany, Jennifer Lukey, CBS 6 News.
From 6-year-old Juliana Blake of Albany to 81-year-old Giselle Choak of Schenectady, and the 5,043 runners in between, the 35th annual Wrgb run for women boasted the largest field yet. The heat index was in the 80s, still a record crowd sprinted up Madison Avenue, ran through Washington Park, and back down the hill. At the finish, it was a clean sweep at the top for Kenya. Emily Shabab pulled away from countrywoman Esther Chamate to post a winning time of 15 minutes and 26 seconds, just 14 seconds off the record pace set by Shabab when the 27-year-old won this event for the first time in 2010. Kenya's Isabella Owachichi finished third. In fourth, Amy Van Alstyne was the top American finisher. Megan Hogan of Saratoga Springs was the fastest local in a time of 16 minutes and 29 seconds. She ran 10th. Poland's Dorota Gruka won her second straight Masters title in 17 minutes flat to finish 17th overall.